You don't start at a law firm as a lawyer. You start as someone who can be used without breaking anything important. That's the first truth of this world. The firm doesn't run on courtroom speeches. It runs on deadlines, risk management, and people who can be trusted with small tasks at high speed. And the levels aren't just titles. They're different lives built around the same currency, time. Before you ever touch a file, you learn the first language, confidence without certainty. You polish your resume until it stops looking like a person and starts looking like a product. You practice answers that sound honest, but not dangerous. You learn to talk about stress like it's a hobby and exhaustion like it's a season you can handle. In interviews, partners smile like they're friendly, but their questions aren't about your dreams. They're about liability. Will you embarrass them? Will you quit when it hurts? Will you make mistakes loudly? Will you survive the hours without becoming a problem? You leave thinking they tested your intelligence. They tested your tolerance. Your first job is not law. It's friction removal. You carry binders. You print exhibits. You label, staple, scan, and reformat. You fix numbering that broke because someone copied a table from the wrong document. You chase signatures like your life depends on ink. You sit in conference rooms watching lawyers argue about a sentence like, it's a door lock. You learn that wording isn't style, it's risk allocation. You learn the first unspoken rule. Urgency is contagious. Quick question means your day is gone. Can you hop on this? Means you're already late. Just need this by EOD means tonight. You learn the firm is not a courtroom drama. It's an email factory with expensive consequences. If you're on staff, you learn a different kind of authority. You learn which partner explodes at typos and which partner explodes at being surprised. You learn which court clerk actually answers the phone. You learn the filing systems that keep cases alive. You learn the difference between we can fix it and we can't fix it after 5. Paralegals and assistants aren't support, they're infrastructure. You watch junior lawyers panic over things you handle calmly. You watch them learn the difference between smart and reliable. Smart is optional. Reliable is survival. You also learn the firm's second language, politeness as pressure. Just following up, circling back, per my last email. Every sentence is a lever. Now you arrive with a bar card and a new kind of fear, being trusted. You thought the hardest part would be knowing the law. It isn't. It's being billable. Your life becomes time entries in 6-minute blocks. You learn to narrate your existence in phrases that sound valuable. Review, analyze, revise, draft, confer, research, prepare. You learn to watch the clock in the background of your own life. You also learn the secret behind the billable hour. The firm isn't buying your time, it's buying your responsiveness. You answer emails at dinner. You answer emails in bed. You answer emails with one eye open because quick turnaround is the firm's love language. Your work is mostly invisible. Document review, site checking, proofreading, red lines that turn your writing into someone else's voice. You learn to love track changes and hate yourself a little when you realize you can read a 9-0 PAGE agreement and still miss the one word that matters. You don't win arguments yet. You prevent mistakes. And you learn the first sharp truth. Nobody cares how hard you worked if the draft isn't clean. Now you become useful. You can draft without supervision every sentence. You can spot issues before someone points at them. You start understanding your practice not as a label, but as a climate. If you're in litigation, you live in discovery. Your world becomes custodians, collections, search terms, privilege logs, and deadlines that arrive like weather. You learn facts are something you assemble, not something you find. You learn that most cases are won by not getting surprised. If you're transactional, you live in diligence and closing checklists. You learn deals are risk allocation written in polite language. You learn that market is sometimes just a louder way of saying the other side has leverage. You start taking calls with clients, but you mostly listen. You attend hearings, but you mostly watch. You go to closings, but you mostly coordinate. Your reward for competence is more work. Your punishment for competence is also more work. This is the level that breaks people quietly. You're not new enough to be forgiven. You're not senior enough to control your life. Partners hand you chaos and expect structure. Juniors hand you drafts and expect answers. Clients hand you problems and expect certainty. You begin to own pieces of matters. A deposition outline, a motion, a diligence work stream, a closing, a witness prep plan. You become the person who turns "we need to respond" into an actual response. You learn what strategy means at this level, choosing which fires matter and which can be contained with language. You also learn the job isn't only law, it's containment. Containing the client's panic, containing the partner's expectations, containing the record, containing the risk, containing yourself. You learn the firm's quiet religion. Never surprise the client, never surprise the court, never surprise the partner, who has to explain it. And you stop telling people you're tired. You start saying you're fine, which is a professional lie everyone accepts. Now you can feel the fork in the road. You either become the kind of lawyer who can run a case or run a deal, or you become the kind of lawyer who makes other people look good while your own life narrows into work. As a senior associate, you are the firewall between partners and reality. You run internal calls. You delegate. You correct without humiliating. You rewrite without announcing you rewrote. You learn to catch problems early because late problems become public. You also learn the difference between law and business with painful clarity. Sometimes the best argument isn't the one you make. Sometimes it's the one that keeps the client solvent. Sometimes it's the one that keeps the relationship alive. Sometimes it's the one that ends the matter before it eats another year. You start mentoring juniors and realize the hardest thing to teach isn't research. It's judgment. When to ask, when to stop, when to send, when to sleep, when to say, we can't do that. This is the in-between life. You're senior, trusted, and heavily used. You become the steady hand for weird problems. The niche regulatory issue, the procedural trap, the deal point everyone misunderstands. The motion that has to be perfect because it's the one the judge will actually read. You do high-level work without the formal power of ownership. It's respect without control. The firm leans on you because you're safe, and safe people get more weight at it until they either crack or leave. Now you get the title. The email signature changes. The office changes. The expectations change faster than your life does. You're still billing hard, but now you're also selling. Business development sounds like lunches until you realize it's a second job layered on top of the first. You start going to dinners you don't enjoy. You start maintaining relationships like their accounts. You start learning that the firm's real product isn't legal brilliance. It's reassurance. Clients buy your calm more than your citations. Now you own the machine. This is where time is still currency, but originations become religion. Who brought the client? Who keeps the client? Who can expand the client? Who can stop the client from leaving? You run matters and economics, staffing models, budgets, write-offs, realization, collections. You learn that being right doesn't matter if the client hates the invoice. You learn to deliver bad news in a way that keeps the relationship intact. You become careful with language the way other people are careful with fire. Because now the risks are adult risks. Malpractice, sanctions, reputational damage, client loss, the slow death of morale that happens when good associates leave and the work doesn't. Now you manage lawyers, which means you manage human stress like it's a resource. Staffing fights, compensation politics, partner disputes, associate attrition, client complaints, conflicts, lateral hires, office culture, the quiet instability every firm lives with. You stop asking, is this good law? You start asking, is this sustainable? You learn culture isn't speeches. Culture is what gets rewarded. Culture is what gets ignored. Culture is how safe people feel telling the truth. So you build systems for honesty, because without honesty, your firm becomes dangerous to itself. This is the myth level, the partner whose name opens doors. People return your calls faster. Associates volunteer for your matters. Leadership listens longer. The building shifts when you walk through it, but the price is that you're never off. Clients don't buy your time. They buy access to you. Your phone becomes a leash. Your calendar becomes a negotiation. Your vacations become remote. Your relationships become maintenance. You keep the machine fed, and the machine treats you like its power source. Most law firm careers don't end in triumph. They end in a decision. In-house, fewer clients, deeper responsibility, longer consequences. Government, different pressure, different politics, different ethics, different patience. Boutique, smaller machine, sharper edges, sometimes cleaner control. Leaving, rebuilding a self that wasn't measured in 6-minute blocks. And when you step away, you learn something strange. Silence feels suspicious at first. You're so used to urgency that peace feels like you missed an email. Eventually, you become the person who can describe the entire firm in one sentence. Not the marketing sentence, the true one. A law firm is a place where intelligence matters, but temperament matters more. Where every level is trained to carry uncertainty without showing it, to document everything, to speak carefully, and to keep the client's fear from becoming the firm's mistake. So what is life at every level of a law firm? At the bottom, you learn obedience to deadlines. In the middle, you learn ownership without control. At the top, you learn the real job isn't winning. It's managing risk, managing people, and managing time until time manages you.